Hi you guys, my name is Sharita. Yep, I am here. Actually, I have been summoned. My best friend texted me and said, hey, can you make an NCA recap video, please and thank you. I don't really think it was a question. It was more of a polite demand. So here I am. I'm on my way to work, so we're gonna chit chat whilst I drive. All right, so as you guys know, this past weekend was NCA 2024, and you guys, this was probably one of the best NCAs I've seen in a long periodically time. And there's a lot of things to talk about, not just placements or anything like that. So usually what I do is I talk about like each division, but we're not doing that. We're just gonna do talking points. And first things first, we're gonna get it out of the way. We are going to talk Lady Jags uniforms because I absolutely cannot. So I know a lot of people thought the uniforms were cute. A select few people, they liked the uniforms. But the vast majority, including myself, was like, no, absolutely not. And one, like, it's just inappropriate for cheer. And I know a lot of people say things like, well, it shows the same amount of skin as, you know, normal uniforms. But the amount of skin has nothing to do with anything. Oh, so we're just running red lights. All right. The amount of skin has nothing to do with anything, because we know a lot of senior teams have, you know, crop tops and the skirts are relatively short or whatever. That's not what the problem was. The problem was how grown, in the words of all black moms and aunties across the world, how grown the attire was. It was literally like a corset. Why does a corset need to be part of a cheer uniform? And then on top of that, the back was like laced up and like you tied it or something. That's just dangerous. Like, and I know for a fact so they ended up getting the image violation policy or whatever for those uniforms, which rightfully so. And I know a lot of people were saying, well, if Lady Jags got the image violation, then TGLC should have gotten the image violation because, you know, it shows more skin or whatever. And at first, you know, in my head, I was like, yeah, like, you're absolutely right. But, like, I had to take a step back and think of the one time that I've called an image violation. And it wasn't just the outfit. It wasn't just the dance. It wasn't just the music. It was a combination of all three that I felt was inappropriate, because I was literally watching the routine like this. It was a dance team, and I was literally watching the routine like this because I was so uncomfortable with the theme of the routine and the music and the uniform. If it had just been the uniform, the costume, cool. If it had just been the music, cool. If it had just been the dancing, cool. But all three together made it so inappropriate. So looking at TGLC, their uniform was themed Dungeons and Dragons, 300. I don't know any of that stuff. Harry Potter. Anyway, they had a theme, right? Gladiator. They had a theme, and the uniform went with the theme, and there was nothing inappropriate about the theme. There was nothing inappropriate about the routine and the music. Now, when we get to Lady Jags, the uniform itself, the top of the uniform itself was beyond inappropriate. So there we go. And, you know, a lot of people want to bring up how, you know, like, there's already a lot of pedophiles out there that come and watch these competitions, and putting on a uniform like that is, you know, like a corset is not used for something that's not inherently unsexual, right? And so when you put children in that uniform, all it does is it just the minds, I'm assuming, of these nasty people, like it stimulates their mind even more. So I don't know, I just have questions. I just want to know, like, what was the image, you know? Apparently it's Bratz dolls, but there's so many more different ways they could have gone with that. And not to mention, like, Worlds is in 2 days. So why did it take this long to get those uniforms to begin with? So anywho, I thought it was a bad idea. I think all parties involved, you know, just really just think about it, because yeah. Anyway, I've rambled on about TGLC. I've rambled on about Lady Jags and their uniforms. So that's that. Next thing I want to talk about are non-tumbling teams. Now, if you guys know me, if you guys have been watching me, y'all know that I've always been the believer of, like, non-tumbling teams do not belong at Worlds, you know, because it doesn't represent all of the elements of cheerleading, tumbling. But lately, and I know first time divisions, you know, they're not always going to be perfect. But lately, there have been some non-tumbling teams that literally make me forget that tumbling is not part of the routine, because the stunts are just that amazing. And in particular, I want to talk about Cheer Extreme Code Black, because y'all, that hands down has got to be the best routine that was delivered at NCA. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, those stunts, they don't move. And I know a lot of non-tumbling supporters and fans and parents and athletes are frustrated at the fact that non-tumbling, they're not in the running for grand champs, right? Those are for all the level 6 and 7 teams that do tumble. And yeah, it's frustrating because, okay, sorry about that. So anywho, yeah, I just think it's frustrating that non-tumbling teams, they're not in the running for grand, because when you have a score like a 99.4, whatever Code Black had, you are very well deserving of grand champ. But I guess maybe for the same reasons that I initially was not a fan of non-tumbling, you know, maybe that's the reason why they are not considered for grand champ. But I don't know. I also have a problem with, not a problem, but so we know that Cheetahs got grand champ, and we will come back to Cheetahs because but in my opinion, I feel like there were better teams, or teams that should have scored higher, but because you have different judges judging each World's team and each World's division, the grand champ, I don't know, like, yeah, because cheer is so subjective at times, you know, maybe the judges for large co-ed, maybe they judged, you know, a little higher throughout the weekend. Now here's like, as long as the judging is consistent, you know, Grand Champ could have been a score of 91, just as long as it, you know, it was consistent with, you know, with scoring. But again, the judges who were on the judging panel for large co-ed, maybe they judged, maybe they were more lenient than judges in, you know, in other divisions. Who knows? Again, I don't know what panel was judging what, but you know, that's just how it is sometimes. But in all honesty, like I felt that Code Black should, or just non-tumbling in general, should have been in the running for Grand Champ, because y'all, that routine is insane. That, yes, that is one of my favorite routines of NCA. So we've talked about that. Now let's talk about, okay, we'll talk about some of my favorite routines, and actually let's talk about cheetahs. Y'all, I have never been a fan of cheer athletics and their dances and their routine composition. Never. Like, you guys can go back to like my first world's predictions or whatever. I just haven't. And oh, here's my disclaimer. I forgot to get my disclaimer up front. Y'all, I love all cheerleading. So everything that I say is meant to be with constructive criticism. It has nothing to do with like who I hate, who I don't hate, who I am biased towards, or anything like that, because I love all cheerleading. And when I watch a good routine, like, a good routine is a good routine, and you can't convince me otherwise. So with that being said, I have never been a fan of cheer athletics as a whole, of their dances. I just haven't. Y'all, this year, I don't know what they put in the water in Plano, Texas, but baby, cheetahs, that theme, the drum line, like it's giving. I am a fan. And the boys are dancing as if their lives depend on it, and I am here for it. So cheetahs, chef's effing kiss, because that is a routine that that is pure entertainment. Like they are catching up to Top Gun when it comes to entertainment quality of the types of routines that TGLC normally puts out. Speaking of TGLC, a lot of people were saying like there was a legality in their jumps. First of all, there is no such thing. Well, if you jump directly to your knees without bearing weight onto your hands, or like your toes first, that's a safety deduction. But the reason why TGLC scored lower in their jumps is because they did not have enough jumpers in their routine. So if you guys look at the jump quantity, I forget how many jumpers they're supposed to have, but because of some replacement things that went on with TGLC, they didn't replace a jumper, so they did not have the amount of jumps they needed to get into the high range for jumps. So that's all. There was no legality. It was, they did their jumps, they just did not have enough people to meet the high range of quality in jumps. That's it. And while I'm not a fan of the uniforms, because again, I'm old, I don't get it, I do like the dance. I do enjoy the dance. Like, I'm glad that people are stepping up in the dance department when it comes to cheerleading. Okay, let's talk about small senior for half a second. because I'm tired of people just going based off names and programs that they know and not really watching teams. Now, small co-ed has always been, that's my candy, don't judge me. Small co-ed has always been a large division, but as we know, for the longest, it's always been Brandon Senior Black and SMOED. Now that SMOED has like contenders for winning. Now that SMOED is not in that division for like the last 2 years, Brandon Senior Black has kind of had that division in a chokehold, right? So this lady, you guys, is driving like a maniac. Girl, if you're not gonna get there on time, you're not gonna get there on time. So, like, she's literally driving like a psycho. And she's behind me again. Love that for me. So anywho, for the past couple years, Brandon Senior Black has had a chokehold on that division because it takes time to build up programs. You know, it takes a while to build up programs to get to the level to compete with the Brandon Senior Blacks and the SMOEDs and whatever. And you guys, like, this year, Brandon Senior Black, they're not the team that we are used to. That's not to say that they're not good, because they are. Rock just slid into my windshield. But they're not the team that we are, you know, that we're used to, where like their stunts don't even wobble, you know? Like, they're just not as clean and precise as they usually are. And that could be because they're, you know, like all of their veterans have aged out, or, you know, they're, you know, they have new coaches, or whatever it may be. Let's call a spade a spade. They are not as precise as we are used to seeing them. Again, that's not to say they're not bad. It's just not what we as cheer fans are accustomed to. And so now we've got other teams that are killing it in this division. And you've got teams like Woodlands Elite, Blackhawks, who, you know, they've been in medium co-ed for years and years and years. They switch over to small and they kill it, you know? We've got Max Senior Stars. They have always been, well, not always, but lately they've been a contender, and they looked amazing this weekend, you guys. And then, like, there's just so many teams in that division, and I'm tired of, oh, well, this team got robbed, that team got robbed. Babes, this is not a bank. We are not in Set It Off. Nobody got robbed. And if you guys want to go back and look at scores and watch routines, you can see that the judges had it right. So, again, that's small co-ed, you know? Ooh, large all-girl. Okay, y'all. Panthers? My jaw was on the floor. Panthers was, oh my gosh. They, speechless. They were entertaining. They had the difficulty. They were clean. They put on a show. It was, I loved every second of it. And then Stars, you guys, like, I just got chills thinking about it. They're paying homage to the Stars, you know, the shooting stars. And they did such a good job performing that routine. It was great. Two teams that I think should have been contenders for grand champ, like say it was like judge's choice when it came to Grand Champ. I think that South Coast Cheer Fearless and Top Gun 00, I'm a little biased, but those two routines were, yeah, those two plus Code Black, probably my, but then F5, you guys, there are just so many good routines. Like those routines, South Coast Cheer Fearless, Top Gun 00, and Code Black, probably my top 3 routines of NCA. South Coast Cheer Fearless, like, do they know how to not win? I want to know what their practices are like. Like, yeah, I want to know what their practices are like, because they don't lose. And I'm real upset that I did not get to watch their routine day 1 because the stream was not back on when it should have been. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. All right, you guys, so I'm at work. This will probably be part 1 of part 2. I always say that and then I never make a part 2. But I'm gonna upload this video and let's talk. There's still a lot to talk about, but you know, let's chit chat a little bit about NCA and let me know what you guys thought, because this was an amazing NCA. So I'm gonna go work now, and until my next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.